What happens when a disabled child excitedly tells Santa about his special wrestling practice? I've been playing Mall Santa for 15 years now, and you develop a sixth sense about people. Most of the time, it's joyful chaos. Kids screaming with excitement, parents desperately trying to get one good photo, teenagers ironically asking for Lamborghinis. But working with thousands of kids every season, you learn to read the signs others miss. The way a child flinches when their parent reaches for them, how some kids whisper their real wishes when mom's not listening, the forced smiles that don't reach their eyes. I thought I'd seen it all until last December 20th, just 5 days before Christmas. The mall was packed and I was doing my usual routine when I noticed this kid with Down syndrome hanging around the North Pole display. He looked about 15 and kept starting to approach, then backing away, like he was building up courage. I noticed bruising on his jaw, purple-green against his skin, but it could have been makeup. When he finally came up and asked if he could talk to Santa, I patted the bench beside me. "Of course, buddy. What's your name?" "Alex," he said, sitting down carefully and smiling that pure, trusting smile. "I came by myself on the bus. I'm very independent." He was so proud of this fact. "Dad and Uncle Jerry said I might get special presents from you this year if I keep doing well at our practice sessions." Nothing unusual there. Lots of kids talk about being good for presents. "What kind of practice sessions?" I asked, adjusting my Santa beard. "Wrestling practice," Alex said enthusiastically. "Every night when Mom works at the hospital, Dad holds a camera as Uncle Jerry and I wrestle on the bed. I have to try and escape as Uncle Jerry tickles me." My hands froze as I went to pat his head. He pulled up his sleeve to show me bruises, dark fingerprints on his forearms. Uncle Jerry gives me beer after to help with the pain. He says it's medicine, but it makes me feel really sleepy. He giggled at this secret. My hands gripped the armrest so hard my knuckles went white. 15 years of reading kids, and I'd never felt rage like this. How long had this been going on? How much worse would it get? I forced myself to keep the Santa smile, but inside I was already planning my next move. The moment Alex left to catch his bus, I immediately called the abuse hotline. My hands were shaking as I explained everything, how this kid with developmental disabilities was being taken advantage of. The social worker took detailed notes and explained that they needed to intervene immediately if a disabled kid was involved. I told her to be careful, and she assured me they had special experts who knew how to handle these situations. That same evening, officers arrived at the house. They found Alex in the garage with fresh bruises, his father and uncle drunk, and empty beer cans scattered around what they called their training area. Alex was removed immediately and taken to the hospital. The forensic interviewer who specialized in adults with developmental disabilities met with him the next day. Turns out the wrestling practice had been going on for 8 months, escalating each time. The uncle had been paying the father a fee for each time he was allowed to touch Alex, and they went as far as to sell the footage to some of Uncle Jerry's friends. The worst part? Alex's mom had noticed the bruises for months, but convinced herself her husband and brother were just roughhousing with him. She'd told herself the bruises were from Alex being clumsy, that the behavior changes were just part of his condition. Both men were arrested that night. During interrogation, they admitted everything, but the father actually said he was doing Alex a favor, preparing him for when they wouldn't be around to protect him anymore. Alex's mom initially defended them, claiming I must have misunderstood what Alex said because of his disability. Can you imagine? Using his Down syndrome as an excuse to dismiss his abuse. Alex visited me at the mall next Christmas. He was like a different person, confident, making jokes, wearing a t-shirt that showed arms without bruises. He lived with his aunt now and was thriving in a day program. Santa, you saved me. I had to take a break after that.